going on? My name is Terrance. I am a psychiatric social worker in LA County. I also the owner of TR Naturals, a natural product line for men and women. I'm making a video, one, to have you guys see that, you know, you guys can be vulnerable, but also two, for me, as my healing process and being vulnerable as well. Healing is, I feel like, is very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
We often heal in different type of ways. Like there's healthy ways of healing and there's unhealthy ways of healing. I think I've always leaned to like the unhealthy ways of healing.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's either like, you know, doing things I'm not supposed to be doing, like, you know,
got your vices.
Yeah, you got your own little vices, or like, you know, going out to party or whatever it is. Especially when it comes to like romantic relationships. And you know, those processes where you break up with somebody and it's like, okay, like you need to kind of go, you start being more promiscuous and trying to heal, you know, just heal off.
Trying to heal yourself off some,
exactly.
Get your mind off some shit.
Exactly, yeah. You got to try to build your self-esteem up
right.
again. And, you know, I think healing in a way, in that type of way wasn't, you know, effective, because I think we all seek a way to feel better. Like,
right.
even though there's things we probably shouldn't do, like our own little vices or or bad habits, quote unquote, we all feel a point where we want to heal and feel better. Like even if you're drinking alcohol like excessively, like you're doing it more so to feel better, not to feel worse. Or
right,
using drugs to feel better and not feel worse.
Right.
So for healing for me and learning like different coping skills. So, and what I mean by coping skills is effective ways to have long-lasting healing,
mm-hmm.
And ongoing healing. So that can be like me going to the gym. That could be me, you know, having a conversation with somebody. That can be, you know, me like writing or listening to music. And sometimes for me, like music is a big thing for me, like specifically, especially if I'm driving. My biggest thing, especially I came all the way from Long Beach. I love like driving, you know, driving far,
and
especially if there's no traffic. So my thing is like listening to music while I'm driving.
So you get that zone, you get the zone,
yeah,
with no interruptions.
I love that. I love that. So I think again, healing is important for me just to build healthier relationships. When I always think about my past and like why I do things, I always think about like my religious perspectives growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So like growing up Christian, right? There's certain guidelines and certain rules that you need to follow in order to be in compliance, quote unquote, with the faith, right? So, and I'm not, as I get older, I'm better understanding, like, you know, I think, you know, I do believe there's a higher power,
mm-hmm.
and there's things in this world, like you're looking at nature, like, you know, man doesn't make,
yeah, you can't do
trees, like we don't, you know, there's laws, there's quantum physics, there's a lot of things, law of attraction, there's other things, other energies I feel like are out there that bring us all together or like make things happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For me, like going to a church or going to a building and actually trying to be in order, be this perfect person in order to get to heaven, I think that had a lot of pressure. I remember like getting to like a lot of, like when I first was my first year in school and when I went to college, I remember just getting to a lot of debates with people about like religious views and like what's right, what's wrong, you know, what was created, how was it created. But I think, you know, being angry had a lot to do with like my beliefs. So like I would feel like this person's wrong and I'm right. You know what I mean?
Because of the religious beliefs.
Because of religious beliefs. But also too, like I feel like that was a foundation for other things. So like I'm right, you're wrong type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I feel like something's right, I'm gonna stand on that. You know what I'm saying? So like we can either argue about it verbally, I'm gonna get upset. I'm a bigger dude too, and I've always have been. So like for me, it wasn't necessarily an issue to get into like a physical altercation with anybody. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't something that, you know, I would, looking back at it now, that's not something I would, you know, condone, but like that was the way I knew, just based on like my size and like what I know I can do with not
imposing your will. You're posing like I'm right and I can prove to you that I'm right.
Exactly.
Not only in this debate, but I can beat your ass too.
Exactly, yeah. Because I always, and this has always been my thing, like if I'm gonna argue with somebody, like my ultimate thing is like, we're arguing, it's not like gonna be, it wasn't always gonna be a healthy debate. It was like, if I'm gonna argue with you, I know at the end of the day we're gonna fight, or if it comes down to it, we're gonna fight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, it wasn't always, oh, you can have we could agree to disagree. That wasn't
you.
That wasn't ever. When I first time I heard that, I was like, damn, that's a good way to sell it. I said we could agree to disagree. Like, I was like, damn, I use that all the time, because everybody has their own views. You know what I'm saying? And that's perfectly fine. Like, I'm not and then coming to the realization is like, I'm wrong more times than I'm right. But the times I am right now, I know that because I was wrong before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
Just based on my own, I think my moral compass has gotten a lot better since, having that realization and being able to, respect people even when they have their own views. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like, as a therapist, you can't put yourself in a position where somebody's disagreeing with you or you feel like they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And you're posing your own biases on situations.
Right.
Like, that's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think I've learned that like before I became a therapist, I was kind of easing into that.
Mm-hmm.
But like now it's like, people can have their own views about certain situations, certain things, and we can still like have a conversation and like be okay. You know what I'm saying? If people do decide to go into therapy, I think it's very important to recognize and be open to the point where you might question your religious motives, and you might question your cultural practices as well. And I'll say that because a lot of times in therapy we explore like why we do things, and once we figure out why we do things, a lot of stuff may, the backbone of it may be like how we were raised in our upbringing. A lot of it has to do with like religion or your culture. Culture can also be like, your ethnicity, like how you identify it, but also culture, like what the family dynamic looks like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to like doing therapy, some of those things might come up, and you might question those things to where it's like, is this the right thing, or is there something else? That's always like a big disclaimer.
Yeah.
But also, it can also enhance your culture and have you more appreciative of your culture, or more appreciative of your religious views. Now, when it comes to like church and therapy, like I think you hit it on the head where you're saying, work without action is pretty much a wish. But if you're given the ability and the resources to go to therapy, like obviously your higher power is giving you that resource.
Right.
It would be best to be open to that. But I think a lot of people, like, obviously our higher power is our higher power. So the thought is that our higher power would take care of everything for us. Which, that's not something to question too much. You know what I'm saying? Because like that is the possibility in faith, right? But you also have to recognize that there's a lot of things where, it's not just gonna be given to you, but the ability to accomplish those things will be given to you. So, for example, if you have insurance or medical insurance and that covers your therapy, or you have a small cost, it'll probably be best because God placed that in your life to get the help, right?
So use it, right?
So utilize it. Why not?